Good evening and thank you for staying with us right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Esther Machuku and this is the World News. Here are the top stories. Banana Island on lockdown, estate gate shut, traffic chaos spreads to Lekki Aja axis. IPOP tells South is used to shun army recruitment. President Tinubu Sanwo-Olu's rift deepens as president reportedly extends withdrawal of Lagos monarch security details. Hours after sack rumors, INEC chairman Yakubu holds meeting. Governor Zulum cries out Boko Haram launching attacks, kidnapping people almost on daily basis. Thugs attack Lagos Labour Party secretariat, cart away millions of naira, other valuables. And a very development outside the shores of Nigeria, China upset after J.D. Vance makes Chinese peasants remark calls US VP ignorant. Details now. Thank you for staying with us. The world news begins from Lagos State, where the gates of the Banana Island, situated in the Ikoyi area of Lagos, was on Tuesday shut for entry and exit. This shutdown has caused gridlock in the Lekki Aja axis and some other parts of Ikoyi. There are speculations that the shutdown was due to the proposed demolition of the Banana Clubhouse. In a viral video today, vehicles in their long queues were seen stranded in the estate with some men manning the gate to the estate. As of the time of filing this report, there are contradictory claims on the government agencies responsible for this development. While some attributed it to agencies of the federal government, some others said agencies of the state government were responsible. Inquiring about the blockage, our correspondent, while citing a viral broadcast message that the state gate had been locked from residents, reached out to the Lagos State Building Control Agency, which denied being in the area. The broadcast message, which circulated on Tuesday, read, Lagos State Government Agency has just shut down Banana Island, disallowing residents and visitors from gaining access into the estate. Meanwhile, the indigenous people of Biafra has cautioned Southeast youth against enlisting in the Nigerian army, warning that they risk being deployed to volatile regions and exposed to terrorist threats. In a statement by spokesperson today, Imal Powerful, IPOB alleged that the Nigerian military has historically exhibited ethnic bias, often sending recruits from the south to dangerous zones dominated by terrorist groups such as Boko Haram. The group advised youth in the region to return home and pursue farming or other productive ventures instead of enlisting in a system it claims has consistently marginalized soldiers from diverse ethnic backgrounds. According to IPOB, and I quote, we have witnessed viral clips and reports about Nigerian soldiers fighting insurgents in the north, expressing grievances over insufficient allowances, food, medical care, and equipment. These Nigerian soldiers are exploited as scapegoats in the terrorism dealings between Nigerian politicians and the Western allies. We also possess documentation of military barracks and police stations in northern Nigeria being taken over by terrorists. In exchange, the federal government and its deadly military compensate the terrorists responsible for killing the unaware soldiers with cash, employment, and scholarships under the guise of repentant terrorists, officially incorporating them into their security forces. Unknowingly, numerous young individuals have perished in battlefield by ongoing sponsored insurgencies. End quote. Now, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kaide Egbetokun, has indefinitely extended the withdrawal of security details for Lagos traditional rulers Omogbolahan Onuyu and Saeed Elegushi. Sources close to the matter revealed to People's Gazette that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu authorized the police to continue withholding government-provided security for the monarchs after learning that they supported Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu in the controversial impeachment of Mudashiru Obasa, Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly in January. The president disclosed that was deeply angered by the mismanagement of Lagos politics by Governor Sanwo-Olu, especially after the governor failed to contain rebellious lawmakers prior to Obasa's impeachment on January 13. Now, Tinubu, according to the sources, is determined to punish not just the governor, but also those who were complicit in the scheme. As a result of the extended security suspension, police vans that once stood outside the palaces of Oniru and Elegushi were notably absent over the weekend. Now, apparently, Kabiyesi Oniru has already hired private security guards and shared brand new suits with them so they can appear as SSS agents. This is according to a source who disclosed to the People's Gazette on the situation at Oniru's palace. Now, they say he doesn't know when his government security will be reinstated and that the president is still very angry. While constitutional constraints prevent President Tinubu from easily punishing Governor Sanwo-Olu as an incumbent, sources said the president has moved to hold accountable those who aided the governor's controversial actions. President Tinubu's frustration stems from the belief that Oniru and Elegushi should have questioned the validity of Sanwo-Olu's claims that he had presidential approval to remove Obasa, a key player in Lagos politics. The president said Elegushi and Oniru should have contacted his office to verify whether he supported the impeachment. They should have done due diligence. Mojishola Laspat Miranda was sworn in as the new speaker after Obasa was impeached. Obasa, however, was later reinstated on March 3 after a directive from the president, though Lagos lawmakers initially resisted. Now, though Governor Sanwo-Olu denied any involvement in the impeachment, allegations suggest he influenced lawmakers to secure Obasa's removal. In the aftermath, Tinubu reportedly snapped the governor, even refusing to meet with a delegation of lawmakers who traveled to Abuja seeking his intervention. Meanwhile, the chairman of the National Electoral Commission INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, has dismissed claims of his removal, continue his duties by presiding over the commission's weekly management meeting on Monday, hours after a viral fake news story suggested his dismissal. At Monday afternoon, a message circulated on WhatsApp, falsely claiming that Professor Yakubu had been replaced by Professor Olamileko Bashiru. The message, which lacked credible attribution, stated INEC Chairman Prof. Mahmoud Yakubu has been replaced by President Bola Tinubu. However, in response to this report, the senior special advisor to President Tinubu on digital media and new media, Otega Ogra, in a post on his X handle yesterday, described it as fake news. Yakubu, who is nearing the end of his second term as INEC chairman, is expected to exit the position towards the end of this year. On Tuesday, INEC took to its official social media platform X to confirm that Professor Yakubu was indeed presiding over the Commission's weekly meeting. The post read, "The Independent National Electoral Commission's weekly meeting began earlier today at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja with the Honorable Chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu's superintendent." It also listed the attending national commissioners, including Mr. Sam Olumeku, Mrs. May Agbamuchembu, Mr. Kenneth Ukago, Professor Abdullahi Abduzuru, and Dr. Baba Bila, amongst others. The tweet emphasized that crucial decisions were expected to be made at the meeting. Now, the Borno State Governor has cried out concerning the rampant spate of insecurity in the state. Governor Babagana Zulum has called for reinforced interventions in the war against Boko Haram and other insurgents in Borno State. He lamented that Boko Haram now attacks and kidnaps people in many communities in Borno State almost on a daily basis without any confrontation from security forces. Governor Zulum made the observation today during a special expanded security meeting in Maiduguri, the state capital. Zulum lamented that recent developments point to the fact that Borno State is losing ground in the fight against insurgency. The governor submitted that his administration has been very supportive of the military in the fight against Boko Haram and other terrorists, leading to relative peace in the last 3 years. But the recent attacks and dislodgement of military formations in Wajiriko, Sabongari in Damboa local government area, Wulgo in Gamboru Ngala, Izge in Gwoza local government areas, amongst other related killing of innocent civilians and security agencies, cause for serious concerns and a setback in the fragile state of Borno and the northeast region. Now, armed thugs numbering around 300 reportedly invaded the Labour Party's secretariat in Ikeja, GRA, Lagos on Monday, carting away millions of naira in cash and looting other valuables. VOP News learned that the thugs stormed the premises around 10 a.m., vandalizing offices and making away with sensitive documents, cash and other valuables. Confirming the incident lately, a staff member of the secretariat said police officers arrived at the scene shortly after the incident but were unable to make any arrests as the attackers had already fled. However, the motive behind the attack remains unclear, and the police authorities have started an investigation committed to identifying and bringing the perpetrators to justice. Meanwhile, the leadership crisis within the Labour Party deepened yesterday as the national chairman, Julius Abure, strongly rejected claims that a vacuum existed in the party's leadership. Speaking at the ongoing national executive meeting at the party's national secretariat in Utako, Abuja, Abure declared that any such assertion was a nullity. there is no vacuum in the leadership. He further described the so-called National Caretaker Committee as an illegal body unknown to any law guiding the Labour Party, end quote. You're currently listening to the World News at 6 right here in Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. It's time for us to head into a news analysis segment where I'm being joined by joined right here in the studio physically, actually, with Mr. Peter Anosike, who is a political, national and social affairs commentator. Mr. Peter Anosike will be giving us his perspective and insights into some of the stories read out on the World News at 6. Mr. Peter Anosike, good evening and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
I know that you've been down, you've been having the flu, so I sincerely do apologize for dragging you here, and I do hope that our listeners will be able to bear if you cannot speak as passionately as you love to speak. Mr. Peter Anosike, let's start off with the situation in Lagos State. Now, there are speculations, or not necessarily speculations, based on what the source disclosed to the People's Gazette. Remember that we felt that the situation at the Lagos State House Assembly was a directive from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But post everything that has happened and everywhere has quietened, we've seen moves which indicates that that's not what it is. Now, some reports indicate that there are some elders who were not happy with Mudashiru Obasa's style of leadership. They felt he was high-handed and disrespectful. These supposed elders, who had heard a lot of complaints, specifically from the 25 lawmakers, felt okay, it was within their constitutional rights as lawmakers, if they were not happy with some of the activities of the Lagos State House of Rep Speaker, to actually commence with impeachment proceedings. Now, the president is aware of the supposed silent rift between Mudashiru Obasa and Governor Sanwo-Olu. Obviously has tried to intervene. And you remember very well then that when that impeachment process began, the president expressed his disappointment that he was not happy with the style that, the members went in trying to impeach Obasa. Now, you know that Obasa is a strong henchman of the president. Anything the president wants him to do, he's able to deliver. Do you think this is the reason why, regardless of whatever statements were made and evidence they have against Obasa to no longer represent them, that the president, regardless of that, doesn't care because Obasa can deliver on the mandate, especially as 2027 approaches?
Well, anybody who has understudied Tinubu knows that since 1999 up to date, Tinubu has never used a thoroughbred politician to become governor of Lagos State.
Really?
Fashion was not. Ambode was not. Sanwo-Olu is not. The idea is this: he used career people so that to focus on the government while he focused on the politics.
Okay.
So it has been working for him. It has been working for him, and that's why he has remained the perpetual godfather. He doesn't like people who have built structures.
Okay.
He had never used one.
You think so?
He had never used one.
But he's called the Jacobin of politics in Nigeria. He understands the crude and brutal state of politics in this part of the world. So to do that kind of thing, don't you need structure to accelerate that process?
Say he doesn't use people who build structures.
Okay.
Fashion that wasn't a politician when he was used as a governor. So Fashion focused on government while Tinubu focused on the politics. Ambode was not a politician when he was used. Ambode focused on government while Tinubu focused on politics. Sanwo-Olu was not and is still not. So that is why I'm surprised that he said that he mismanaged the politics of Lagos State.
Okay.
He didn't make a politician governor. Sanwo-Olu was the general manager of NSDPC.
Okay.
From there, he was drafted to become the governor. Understand me? Ambode was the accountant general. He was drafted to become a governor. Sanwo-Olu Fashion was the chief of staff from there to the governor. Okay. So it had been working for him. But when you want to build your own structure, that's where he gets angry with you.
Oh, really? When you want to do something different from what he expects you to do or orders you to do.
Yes, that's where he gets angry with you. And that's one of the reasons why he is not happy with Sanwo-Olu.
Okay.
Because removing a politician who has built structures would affect his ambition of 2027. So that's why he's ready to sacrifice the whole Lagos House of Assembly members for the interest of Obasa.
Let me ask you a question. The way politics is in this part of the world is politics of self and not politics of the people. Is it under the inscription of politics of the people, but the real intention is politics of self?
No, this is self-preservation. You can never have two kings in a kingdom. And that's why Tinubu don't make real politicians, governors. He just bring career people and put them as governors so that he will be the only grassroots politician, the only person with structure.
Okay, let me ask you something. If you base everything around yourself, what happens when you're no longer there? Wouldn't that structure you're trying to create decapitate? Wouldn't it collapse?
Well, some people may be dreaming to become like Paul Biya. Paul Biya has been there since 1984. And he's now about 94, 95. So some people may be having that dream to be or the son that all the other planets will be revolve
around.
And that's what is have been happening in Lagos State since 1999.
So anybody who has an opposing view with the style of politics is either scrunched out, done with, dealt with, or silenced.
Crushed out.
That is a brutal politics.
That is it. So that's why Ambode was pushed away. Once you begin to get ideas, that will be pushed away. So assuming that Sanwo-Olu was in his first term, he wouldn't have dreamt of second term. So what is saving him now is that he has gotten his second term. Understand?
All right. So as it stands now, having to remove the security details from the monarchs, because from what this story indicates is the fact that this monarch supported the governor when he came with complaints about Mudashiru Obasa's high-handedness. At the time. Okay.
Mudashiru Obasa was not respecting him as governor.
That's it. That's why I said high-handedness. He was not being respectful. They said he came late for meetings, even when the governor would be present and all whatnot. So obviously he had the immunity of the president and felt if push comes to shove, I'll be chosen before you, right? And so maybe the elders there to work on the fact that they are elders. Is it possible for the president to completely obliterate their significance, if at all he feels these people are not in support of the way he's handling things?
Well, I know that Tinubu is a strategist. He has been managing crisis before, and he will continue to manage it. But now it seems he's getting overwhelmed.
Okay.
Running Lagos State alone is not the same thing as running a whole country. Understand me? Right now, the knot is slipping from his hand. Whether he likes it or not, the knot is slipping from his hand. So he's getting more overwhelmed.
You think so?
More strict.
He feels, from the feelers.
No. Every politician is an incurable optimist.
But let's look at.
He'll not give you that I'm afraid. He's the commander-in-chief.
Okay.
But we know that the knot is slipping from his hand, so he's getting overworked.
You heard what Ali Ndume said in a broadcast yesterday. I was surprised that I didn't hear the APC members react to this. The only person who has spoken so far is Daniel Bwala. I mean, he called the aides working for the president backing dogs. He called them attack dogs. He called the fact that positions being filled are being filled by the president's area boys, his persons, and that does not represent true federal character. A lot of persons now ask question that for Ali Ndume, what has he done for his constituents? He's been in the Senate for so long. What is the improvement in terms of infrastructure and social welfare from the region he's coming from? And the fact that the president is no longer pandering to a couple of them like former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan did, and that's why he's raising all of this alarm. But I would have expected a certain section of, the president's supporters or the APC members, or Reno Mokri, for example, to have come up with some derogatory and terrible comments. Daniel Obala actually acted like, he described him to say, attack dogs. Now, the question is, if this is a reality, why is criticism not looked into rather than having to silence criticism?
No, the issue, why nobody is responding is because they are afraid of the North.
Really?
They are afraid of the North.
Why are they afraid of the North?
Because the North made Tinubu president.
What are you saying?
The North, how?
Are you saying the Southwest that supported him wholesomely did not make him president?
Wholesomely? Tinubu scored 25% in the Southwest.
But right now, his supporters mainly is think about this group first. Think about this group first. So for a repeat of what happened in 2023, not to repeat again in 2027.
They not made him president. So that's why if people will be tongues will begin to wag. But when somebody from the North talks, mood will become the game. So they don't want to
infuriate them.
That's why that's a very big insult on the whole presidency. That's derogatory name.
I was surprised.
And only
Daniel Bola came out to say something.
Bayo Nonoga pretended as if
he
didn't hear. Assuming it was Peter Obi or somebody from the
Everyone
east.
would have responded.
Understand me? So they are afraid of the North.
But that does not say well. Is the president telling me that as it stands now, with some improvements he's been able to make with his economic reforms?
With what?
No, with his economic reforms.
Give me examples.
Mr. Peter Anosike, the president
Give
has...
me the example.
The president
Have their life improved? Yes or no?
The president has congratulated his first 2 years and said that a lot of reforms and a lot of dormant sectors have become revitalized. So is he not confident with that to earn him a second-term re-election?
What has affected you positively? For me, nothing. I'm still where I was before he was sworn in. Have you improved? Has condition of Nigerians improved? The answer is no. If we do a referendum on Tinubu, say 2 years, Tinubu will not score up to 20%.
All right, let's look at a situation like this. APC has really been doing what you call grassroots mobilization and indoctrination. What is going on with the opposition? How does the opposition intend to unconsciously indoctrinate themselves in the minds of those at the grassroots if they're not already putting into effect? As I tell you, every day, every week, APC members in different constituencies, in different local governments, they have meetings. In the meetings, they give them mandates to follow. They're registering new entrants. They're educating their people. What is going on with the opposition?
Those people are going to their meetings because one, the bread is with them at this point in time. The butter is with them at this point in time. So they have money to share, they have money to spend, and people are hungry. They have money to spend, they have money to share, and people are hungry.
Are you saying people who come for those meetings don't share the ideals and the goals of this administration?
They just want to feed.
Okay, so let me ask you something. If this administration of the APC is all about British, stick it, snatch it, and run away with it, why can't the opposition reincarnate that kind of tactic?
No.
I mean, if in the kind of politics here is not idealist.
Yes, excuse me. Time will come. If you want to win an election in anywhere in the world, make the people angry. The more angry they are, the more they will need a change. Understand me? So anger is one of the strategies to win an election.
The kind of anger that brought in former President Muhammadu Buhari?
Anger.
I'm just saying the kind of anger that brought in former President Muhammadu Buhari.
The more angry they are, the more they will need a change.
That's why I asked you. When Nigerians needed a change and they were angry, especially with the insecurity at the time, that they actually voted in former President Muhammadu Buhari, what change did that bring?
No, it was a mistake on their side. They were not well properly briefed. They were hoodwinked.
Okay.
They were hoodwinked. Understand me?
Okay.
And so what happened? The cure become worse than the disease.
Okay.
The cure, which was the change, become worse than the disease because life of average Nigerians became worse than what it was under the Goodluck Jonathan period.
All right, let's look at a situation where the government has come to say food prices has crashed all across, but the people are still complaining they're hungry. If that is the reality, why are
Which
people still
market
hungry?
did Onuremi Tinubu go to? Which market did he go and see that the prices of food has crashed? Somebody bought a bag of rice. That's on Saturday at 85,000. 85,000. So what are they trying that they don't go to market? You cannot stay in your air conditioned office and be telling me that enough of Nigerians are improving. If you want to check it, come to the street. Go to the street, ask an average Nigerians, how are you feeling? Understand me? What they are doing is called the desktop studies. That's what they are doing. Desktop studies in their offices. Understand me? Making use of IMF or research.
All right, in that regard, if that's what they're using as that, like I say, the reality is what should be more circumspect to be important. If indeed what they say is the truth, then the people should be able to testify.
Come to the street and ask people.
All right. Now, in the situation that things are like this, and it feels like the political bureaucrats are more politically inclined and looking ahead of 2027, while the people are trying to survive and see how tomorrow works. For example, the spate of insecurity across board. Governor Babagana Zulum has come out to cry out. You know, they said they have repeated attacks and kidnappings in that region. Now, it's not just in Borno State. You have in Plateau what happened recently. You also have in Nasarawa, Katsina, as well as some communities in the southeast. Wouldn't you have considered that possibly a state of emergency on insecurity should have been declared coming from the presidency?
No, he had done that over and over, but you cannot declare it. It's not what a word of mouth can solve. For you to know how bad it has become, David Mark, for the first time, has raised an alarm. David Mark, for the first time in many years, has raised an alarm. That shows you that it has gotten to everybody's neck. And for the governor to agree that they are losing this war on insecurity, and an APC governor for that matter, and that is the state of the vice president, that shows you that we are being deceived with whatever achievement that Tinubu has achieved in the last 2 years, because the number one responsibility of any government is protection of life and property. That's number one. So any government that fails on that, you cannot succeed on any other thing.
Interesting. In a situation that this is basically what it is, at least Governor Babagana Zulum has said something. What about the other governors who have been mute, despite repeated cries from the indigents in the states? For example, you've not heard from Peter Amba of Enugu State say anything ever since there have been repeated cries of insecurity, specifically of Fulani terrorists or headers terrorists who are headers, supposedly under the umbrella of heading. Because I don't want to, generalize that it's all Fulanis that are into terrorism. Then you have other communities as well in Enugu, in Ebonyi as well, crying about this, but these governors have been silent. They haven't said anything. Peter Amba is of the People's Democratic Party and Ebonyi is of the APC. So why are they mute? If an APC governor is calling out the reality, why can't these governors call out the reality?
Peter Amba is positioning himself for vice president in 2031.
What? In 2031?
I'm repeating it for you to hear and for them to hear. Peter Amba is positioning himself for a vice president, for a northern candidate in 2031.
I'm sorry, do you think that would work?
So, I don't know. So, he wants to look good in the eyes of the North.
To the detriment of his people?
To the detriment of his own people. To the detriment of his own people. That's why when their own women in Hamufu were protesting, he sent policemen to go and use knife bullets on women.
No, tear gas, not like bullets.
The knife bullets were used. Knife bullets were used to scare those women away. Just imagine, women were protesting over the killing of their children. And you send soldiers and policemen to go and chase them away. because of your selfish interest. You want to be a vice president in 2031. You don't want to offend people in the north. Then, Ebonyi is APC state.
Yes.
Governor Wifru will not want to hurt Omahi. Omahi will not want to look bad in the government. Omahi will not want Tinubu to say your state is giving me problem.
But this same Omahi, when he was governor, didn't he cry out that time? Was he not the one that cried out when he was a former governor as well? Didn't he call out the terrorism being taking place in his...
It is him that destroyed the idea of Ebubago. It is because then he was the chairman of Southeast Governors Forum. He said that they don't want any regional security. That they are comfortable there with Nigeria Police and Nigeria Army, because one Tunde Yusuf promised him president.
I'm so sorry. Mr. Nosi. The same thing now with Peter, but they're promising him vice president for 2031. Let's be serious, Mr. Peter Nosi. Is it possible? I thought this current administration is trying to make sure that when it comes to political relevance, the Southeast will be taken to the doldrums, where any candidate who decides to field anybody from the Southeast will definitely lose it. I thought the partnership is basically between the North and the South, or the Southwest.
No, that's the game now, because in 2031, North East is going to produce the president from the North, and Nuhu Rebadu and Shetima are the main contestants, and they are going to be looking for their vice from the Southeast. Understand me? So governors in the Southeast are already positioning themselves to the detriment of their own people. That is what is happening.
It's not making sense to me. I don't even understand how that metric works. So if to the detriment of your people, now that you're the governor, rather than you considering securing them in the first instance, what if in this 2031 you are not floated, you are not considered, you are not given whatever promise, your name will be in the books of governors who were not active, governors who did not protect their people?
Do they care? Rochas Okorocha built the biggest mosque in Nigeria, in Imo State. Because of what? He wants to be president. At the end of the day, where's Rochas Okorocha today? Has any governor in the North built a church?
Interesting. That's very, very interesting. Okay, let's look at the situation with the Labour Party. Thugs attacked their secretariat. I think that was yesterday. And apparently they carted away items, money, and a couple of valuables. Before the security agents could, come and intervene, they had actually left and fled the scene. What is the meaning of that?
Well, for me, the party is in this because about 2 weeks ago, Abure Obiora Ifo and Ohanetu Kennedy.
Okay.
We are here and at Ajegunde. Okay. Then Vifor came there, even though because I was there with them.
No, you were?
I was there with them. I don't speculate. I tell you what I am sure of. Okay. I was there with them. Just sitting down within 15 minutes, somebody called Vivo, get out of there. And Vivo abandoned them there and left. Understand me? So, 3 days after, this Supreme Court result came. So, Supreme Court result, maybe they have gotten a hint of what is happening. So, there's confusion now. Are you with Abure? Are you with Nana Osman?
Nana de Usman.
Understand me? So that's the confusion. So it could be the Abure faction that has gone to
vandalize the secretariat. Because, like if I would not be in charge, then let everything just scatter.
Sure.
Wow, that's something else. Well, somebody from Labour Party representing the Isuzu State constituency at Enugu State House of Assembly, Honorable Eze Gabriel Lebechi, has dumped the party for the PDP. According to him, he said Labour Party is dead. So, do you think that based on some political arithmetic, that Julius Abure is a stooge, possibly for the current administration or for the APC as a party? Remember, I told you that despite the fact that the APC is in charge, they are very well strong and acting as a good opposition. But that's why I feel like if anyone is complaining about their tactic, why can't they develop a tactic to counter what they're doing? So the question is, has all of this that has unraveled indicated as such that he's a stooge?
Well, Abure is being used to destroy LP.
Okay.
Because to start with, the convention in Nnewi did not have INEC as an observer.
Yes.
And any convention that INEC does not observe, it's not authentic.
Okay.
Because INEC is the regulatory body of any political party. So once INEC did not observe that Nnewi convention, it means that it is a non-entity. Understand me? Then why did the appeal court accept it? That shows you that Abure is being used to destroy Labour Party, as Nyansan Wike is being used to destroy PDP. Imagine what Nyansan Wike said, that his mission is to secure
The SCC and the Rivers for the APC in 2027.
And he's in PDP. So what Abure is doing in Labour Party is what Nyansan Wike is doing in PDP.
So now, if that is the case, and the PDP has not responded to Nyesom Wike, despite him saying what he said publicly, so obviously we don't have a PDP anymore, because we would have expected some proceedings to either expel him out of the party to commence. So that means that whatever it is he's doing is being sanctioned by a wholesome lot of members in the PDP.
No. Talks are going on behind on the scene. A coalition will come.
But what's his name? Wike has said anyone in the PDP forming any form of coalition, he will destroy it.
He
will make sure that it doesn't work.
Who is he? Who is he?
Well, my question is, do you think a coalition will work?
Coalition will work.
Are you very certain? If by now a coalition has not been formed, if by now a coalition has not started indoctrinating and galvanizing from the grassroots?
By now, 2013, we don't know of APC. By now, 2013, we don't know of APC. APC begin to make noise from early 2024, early 2014.
And don't you think these coalition talks are ongoing, that the president can politically, strategically place persons, deliberately tell some persons from the APC to decamp and ensure that they become moles to dilute the effect of this coalition?
That's what he's supposed to do. That's what I expected him to do. I also expect members of the coalition to decamp to APC and begin to destroy APC. That's politics. So if the coalition are not thinking of how to destroy APC, they are stupid. If the coalition are not thinking of how to destroy APC,
then they're not politically
wise. They're not political. It's all about strategy.
Well, it's obvious that the APC is ruling party now, so anybody who decides to defect all of a sudden may become a suspicious element. For example, Valentine Ozigbo leaving the Labour Party, a close ally of Peter Obi to APC.
His career is dead.
What I'm trying to say is that anybody who leaves now and joins the APC, don't you think there will be speculations that these persons are here for a certain reason, which is to create a fracture within the party? I mean, don't you think the party is wiser in that regard?
So can APC members now that has all the money in the world, they come to another party?
Well, some of them are already intending to. There are some factions that are not happy with things, but then people feel that those factions are not genuinely intending to defect. They're basically a tool being wielded to adulterate the effect of any form of coalition.
It is both ways. It is both ways.
All right, Peter Onosike, thank you very, very much for coming on the World News at 6 and giving us your insights on some of these issues here. But finally, before I let you go, IPOP is asking, youths against enlisting in the Nigerian army. What would you say to that?
Well, for me, IPOP is not a state actor. Enlisting in the army is voluntary.
Okay.
But I know that to rise in the army, you have to work 50% 50% more than people from the
Southwest.
and the north. For you to rise in the army from the southeast, you have to be 50% more hardworking than the people from the southwest and from the north. So that's why the people from this other regions get far more promotions than those in the southeast.
All right.
But IPOB cannot decide for anybody. If you want to join the army,
You join.
you join the army. So don't say that IPOB say I shouldn't join.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Peter Anosike. I sincerely do appreciate your input right here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. To wrap up here again, obviously from stories outside the shores of Nigeria, China has slammed U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance after the leader made a controversial remark in which he referred to the country as Chinese peasants. This sharp response from China comes amid a trade war with the United States and Donald Trump's recent tariff revisions against Beijing. Responding to Vance's comments, China called out the U.S. VP for being ignorant and impolite. Vance came under fire after speaking to Fox News, in which he defended the sheriffs and said, "We borrow money from Chinese peasants to buy the things those Chinese peasants manufacture." Speaking to reporters during a press briefing, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ling Jian called Vance's remarks surprising. Now, in following Trump's Liberation Day tariff announcement, China announced a counter tariff of 34% in response to this. Donald Trump, however, was warned Beijing to scrap this measure or face an additional 50% tax on goods and imports into the United States. To wrap up, here again are the top stories. Banana Island on lockdown, estate gate short, traffic chaos spreads to Lekki Aja axis. IPOB tells Southeast youths to shun any recruitment. President Tinubu Sanwo-Olu's rift deepens as president reportedly extends withdrawal of Lagos monarch security details. Hours after sack Rumours, INEC chairman Yakubu holds meeting. Governor Zulum cries out Boko Haram launching attacks, kidnapping people almost on daily basis. Thugs attack Lagos Labour Party secretariat, cut away millions of naira, other valuables. And on stories outside the shores of Nigeria, you also very well had me read out on the situation where Chinese are upset over J.D. Vance's making Chinese peasants remark calls the U.S. Vice President ignorant. That's a wrap on the World News at 6. My name is Esther Wachuku. To stay tuned for the Evening Rush at 7 o'clock.